I'd like to read a few snippets from the opening of my novel, Your Silent Face. But first, here's a short intro. What lies ahead that doesn't suck? Summer break forces Stuart Page to return home and wrestle with his fraying ties to the East Side of Flint, his memory an archive of cassettes he would like to erase. His freshman year of college was lame. More early cure than Spandau Ballet, he might be overheard saying. More Gary Newman than Falco. Flustered by visits from a stoic Viking, fueled by an endless supply of beer, Stuart picks apart an obsession with the lead singer of Joy Division and chugs the sour dregs of insecurity as he drunkenly veers through Flint's blue-collar fight culture. Summer hookups, the after effects of old-school Catholicism, and Reaganomics in Your Silent Face. From the A side of the East Side, I flipped the cassette and drove downtown to Windmill Place, where my mother rang up pizza and fountain drinks. "Oh, hey!" She waved when she saw me slouching at the back of the line. I was keeping an eye out for people I knew. When I reached the cash register, she introduced me to her manager, smoothed her apron, and came around the counter to smooch my cheek. "Let me look at you," she said. "You're so thin. You look tired. Why didn't you come home last night? Maybe you should come home tonight. Maybe you should sleep in your own bed." Hangovers required a great deal of focus. I thought of them as the record function on a tape deck. You could erase the music on a tape by recording nothing, by replacing the music with white noise. "Jesus, Ma, it's nice to see you too." I hugged her. Lunch hour was complicated, but she seemed composed. I watched her closely for signs of mania, the needless complication of routine tasks, and an air of distraction. I studied her dark features, the quick movements of her chapped hands. When she was growing up, everyone on the East Side had assumed she was Mexican. The East Side was white and Mexican, and very little else. But she was Chippewa. Grandpa Norcross had grown up in Minnesota on Red Lake Indian Reservation, before migrating to Flint to work for Buick, before marrying my grandmother, a light-skinned woman with black features and a mysterious past. "One drop is all it takes," is what he used to say. My mother, though, had suppressed her Ojibwe heritage to fit in with the Catholic kids, the white East Siders from the South, and the Pages. I had only ever really been Indian, I felt, when I could point to my grandfather and say to someone, "Oh, I'm with him." "I was thinking of making a meatloaf tonight. How's that sound?" She set a plate of pepperoni pizza and a large cup of Coke on my tray. "Sounds good." I wasn't lying. I missed my mother's cooking. "Stuart," she called after me. "Wait! Come here." She reached across the counter and snagged my frayed collar, which puzzled me at first, but I didn't resist. The gesture felt familiar. There was lipstick on my cheek, which she wiped away. An afternoon rain shower that lasts about as long as it takes an engine pulling coal cars and flatbeds and tankers across Center Road leaves everything matted like wet dog fur. The number of abandoned buildings covered with gang signs along Franklin Avenue has grown. I drift across the East Side like the intro to Joy Division's Shadow Play. I toss and turn in my bed at night like Ian Curtis's frantic vocals in Something Must Break. Lately, my father has been pressuring me to find a summer job. In the musty pavilion on the rise above Kersley Park, I thought about how I had never toured any colleges before I left for school. I mean, like, what was the point? I was leaving. I requested a quiet floor and left the roommate to chance. I didn't have a choice there. Kersley Park has been neglected. I fixated on the blue trunk Susan had pawned off on me before I had left for school because she'd wanted her parents to buy her a new one. Her plan had worked. The trunk, which was still in the back of Karen's Chevette, was hiding my Thompson Twins concert t-shirt from their Into the Gap tour and a warm six-pack of Heineken. On some tape deck in the back of my mind, I was compiling a mixtape. A Flock of Seagulls, Prince, Joy Division, The Smiths, The Cure, New Order, and Depeche Mode. A couple of songs by Parliament, including Flashlight. I felt like drinking. I drove across the east side, $50 richer. I avoided eye contact with everyone at each stoplight, as usual. Everything looked rougher. The Driscoll family had sold Driscoll drugs. Ben Franklin's was a head shop. Oh, how nice, I thought. There was a fluorescent green depository for used clothing on the corner of Franklin and Leith, which had been torched. My block was just like I remembered it. A funeral procession of American-made motor vehicles parked on the south side of the street, outside of not quite, but pretty damn near, shabby aluminum-sided houses with scrubbed and repainted, lusterless siding. My younger sister, Stacy, sat at the dining room table, painting her fingernails a goth black while talking on the phone. "You're going to ruin that nightgown," I said. Stacy's Smurfette hand-me-down was totally stretched out over her bunched-up form. She rolled her eyes and pointed at the receiver pinned between her ear and what was most likely a skinned knee. No, duh. I had eyes. Her guinea pig cowered on the table. "Are you watching that damn thing?" The guinea pig's name was Misty. Misty and I were cool, but I would not admit it. I scrounged through the cupboards for aspirin, very much like a guinea pig. For the millionth time, our mother had rearranged the entire packaged contents of our lives, and I was staring at Twinkies and coffee filters and Pop-Tarts where I should have been finding drugs. "Where's Dad?" I asked. Stacy looked at me with the eyes of a Cabbage Patch doll. They had always horrified me. Their eyes said, "When you fall asleep, I will feed on the underside of your forearm." I thought of the nuns. All memories circled back to them sooner or later. During one of my junior high safety prevention weeks, the nuns had brought in this guy to show us a gruesome film of alcohol-related car accidents and train wrecks. I think some crime and drug stats had been thrown in too. He had wrapped up his spiel with anecdotes about babysitters who had strapped babies in high chairs and left because the parents were late. In cases where the parents had been detained for days or had been the victims of foul play, the babies had begun to eat their own flesh. I debated whether to have a Pop-Tart or a Twinkie. Stephanie came up from the lower level with a basket of clean laundry. "What's up?" "Nothing," she sighed. "Just slaving away."